Red Dead Redemption 2 made $725 million in 3 days. Not 3 months, not 3 weeks, 3 days. And I want you to sit with that number for a second before we go further. That is more money than Avengers Infinity War made worldwide in its entire opening weekend, more than Black Panther's first weekend globally, more than any movie, any album drop, any product launch in the history of human entertainment, and it came from a video game about a cowboy with a horse. So how does that happen? How does a single game, in a genre that most publishers thought was too niche to bet big on, become the most profitable entertainment launch ever recorded at the time? That's exactly what we're going to break down today. Most people who talk about Red Dead Redemption 2's success point to the gameplay and say, it's just really good, and yeah, it is, but that's not an answer, that's a description. The real story is a business story. It's about an 8-year investment, a proprietary engine nobody else has, a marketing strategy built on deliberate silence, and a reputation so carefully constructed over 2 decades that it basically printed money on launch weekend. And here's the part that surprised me when I dug into this. The $725 million number is actually the second best 3-day launch in history, not the first. I'll explain what that means and why it matters, because the nuance there is actually more impressive than the headline. We're going to cover 4 things. The number itself and why it's so insane in context. The cost, how much it actually took to build this thing, the secret weapon most people never talk about, and the marketing machine that turned a video game into a cultural event. Let's get into it. So, first, the number. And I want to be really precise here because there's a lot of bad information floating around online about this. $725 million in 3 days. That figure is not from a fan blog or a Reddit post. It comes directly from Take-Two Interactive's 8K filing with the US Securities and Exchange Commission, dated November 7th, 2018. An 8K is a legal financial disclosure to the federal government. You lie in one of those and you go to prison. So when Take-Two said $725 million, they meant $725 million. That's as verified as a number gets. Now let's put it in context, because the raw number doesn't really hit until you compare it. Avengers Infinity War, the biggest movie in the world in 2018, made $640 million globally in its opening weekend. Red Dead Redemption 2 beat it by $85 million. Avengers Endgame, which launched 6 months later and became the highest-grossing movie of all time, made $357 million domestically in its opening weekend. Red Dead Redemption 2 nearly doubled that. And here's the kicker. Movie tickets cost around $15, Red Dead Redemption 2 costs $60 a copy. People weren't renting the experience, they were buying it outright. But here's where I need to slow down, because this is the part that most YouTube videos get wrong. Red Dead Redemption 2 holds the record for the biggest opening weekend in entertainment history. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's the record. But it does not hold the biggest 3-day launch record of all time. That belongs to Grand Theft Auto 5, which launched on a Tuesday in September 2013 and made $1 billion in its first 3 days. A Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Not a weekend, just 3 random days in the middle of the week. So both records are held by Rockstar Games. The biggest opening weekend ever, Red Dead Redemption 2, the biggest 3-day launch ever, GTA 5. 1 studio, 2 separate records. No other company in entertainment history has touched either of them. And just to really drive home the scale here, in October 2022, 4 years after Red Dead Redemption 2, Activision launched Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. They made $800 million in 3 days and held a press conference about it. They announced it beat the opening weekends of Top Gun, Maverick, and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness combined. And they were right. That's genuinely impressive. But it took the world's biggest annualized shooter franchise 4 years to barely beat what a single Western game did in 2018. That's the scale we're working with. Okay, so now we know what happened, but here's the question that actually matters. How much did it cost to get there, because $725 million sounds incredible until you realize the game might have cost $540 million to make, and then suddenly the math gets a lot more interesting. Rockstar has never officially disclosed the budget for Red Dead Redemption 2. They're a private studio under Take-Two, and they don't break out project-level costs publicly. But analysts, including VentureBeat's investigative report from 2018, triangulated estimates from Take-Two's financial filings, headcount data, and market research. Here's what those estimates say. Development budget, somewhere between $170 million and $240 million. Marketing budget, between $200 million and $300 million. Combined total, somewhere between $370 million and $540 million. The $540 million figure is the high-end analyst estimate, not a confirmed Rockstar number. But even the low end, $370 million, is staggering. For comparison, James Cameron's Avatar cost $237 million to produce. Red Dead Redemption 2, at its low-end estimate, cost more than Avatar before a single trailer aired. So, where did all that money go? Rockstar didn't build this game in one office. They pulled together every single one of their global studios, New York, San Diego, Toronto, Lincoln in the UK, Leeds, India, and merged them into one unified team. According to Rockstar's own credits, roughly 2,000 people worked on Red Dead Redemption 2 in some capacity. About 1,600 of them worked on it directly. That's not a game studio. That's a small city. Development started informally in 2010, the moment the original Red Dead Redemption shipped. Story outlines existed by 2011, working script by late 2012. The game was officially announced in October 2016. It missed its original release date. It missed the second one, finally shipped October 26, 2018. From earliest planning to launch, roughly 8 years. And during those 8 years, Rockstar built things that have no business being in a video game. They motion captured every single character performance with face cameras recording actors' facial expressions in real time. They recorded approximately 500,000 lines of dialogue with around 1,200 voice actors. They built an in-house weather system that simulates barometric pressure, humidity, and wind direction. And this is real, this is a verified thing. They built horse animations so detailed that a horse's anatomy visibly responds to cold weather. That's not a joke. That's a real feature in the final shipped game that 99% of players will never notice until they go specifically looking for it. This is what that budget buys. A level of detail so extensive that most players will never see most of it, and Rockstar built it anyway. But here's the thing that makes this a great business story and not just a crazy spending story. Was it worth it? According to analyst estimates, Rockstar likely broke even within the first week of launch. By December 2018, 2 months after release, the game was generating pure profit. By the end of its first year, Red Dead Redemption 2 had made approximately $1.38 billion in total revenue. The 8-year, up to $540 million investment had more than doubled its cost in 12 months. As of late 2025, Red Dead Redemption 2 sold over 79 million copies. Some sources put it closer to 82 million by the end of 2025. It is currently the 4th best-selling video game of all time, behind Minecraft, GTA 5, and Wii Sports. That's the company it keeps. Now, I do want to mention something here because it's part of the honest story. The 8-year development wasn't just expensive in dollars, it was expensive in people. Dan Houser, Rockstar's co-founder and the lead writer on Red Dead Redemption 2, said in an interview that the team had been working 100-hour weeks. That quote went everywhere. But here's the nuance that got lost in the headlines. Rockstar clarified the next day that Houser was specifically talking about the senior writing staff, himself and 3 other writers, and only for 3 weeks during the entire development. That's the specific quote. That's what he said. Now, separately, former Rockstar employees have documented a broader culture of crunch across many teams and many projects over the years. That's a real, well-documented thing, but those are 2 different things. The specific 100-hour quote and the general culture. Both are part of the story, neither should be collapsed into the other. Okay, so we've talked about the number, we've talked about the cost, but here's the part that most coverage of this story completely skips. The part that actually explains why Rockstar can do what it does and why nobody else can replicate it. It's called Rage. It's called Rage, the Rockstar Advanced game engine. Most major studios don't build their own engines, they license them. Epic's Unreal Engine powers Fortnite, Final Fantasy VII Remake, hundreds of other games. Unity powers thousands more. These are general-purpose tools designed to work across many different types of games. They're flexible, they're well-supported, and they are very, very good. Rockstar uses neither of them. Rockstar has spent 2 decades building its own proprietary engine, specifically designed for the kinds of open-world living simulations it makes. The first version of Rage shipped in 2006. By the time Red Dead Redemption 2 launched, it was in its 8th or 9th major iteration. 2 decades of continuous development on a single piece of software. So, what does Rage do that licensed engines can? First, it streams open worlds without loading screens. From the moment you start Red Dead Redemption 2, you can ride from a snowy mountain in the north all the way down to the southern swamps without a single loading interruption. The world is constantly pulling in and pushing out geometry. NPCs, weather, animal behavior, and audio based on where you are. Most engines can't do this at the scale without visible seams or pop-in. Rage handles it invisibly. Second, it integrates with a physics system called Euphoria. Euphoria is what makes characters in Rockstar Games react to the world like actual bodies, stumbling when they're hit, grabbing surfaces to catch themselves, responding to momentum in real time. Other studios have tried to use Euphoria. Few have gotten results anywhere close to Rockstar's, because Euphoria only works as well as the engine it's running inside. Third, and this is the piece that most people miss, Rage was built from the ground up for living world simulation. NPCs in Red Dead Redemption 2 have actual daily schedules. They wake up, they eat breakfast, they go to work, they visit family, they get drunk at the saloon, they start fights. None of this is hand-scripted for individual characters, it emerges from systems running in the background of the engine, all the time, whether you're watching or not. This is why Rockstar Games feels fundamentally different from everything else. It's not just good writing, it's not just beautiful art direction, it is a different software architecture, built in-house over 20 years that no competitor has replicated. When people ask why Ubisoft can't make a game that feels like Red Dead Redemption 2, even with a comparable budget, this is the answer. The engine. You can't buy it. You can't license it. You have to spend 20 years building it yourself. And by the time you do, Rockstar will have had another 20 years of head start. But even the best engine in the world doesn't sell $725 million of product in 3 days on its own. Someone has to engineer the demand. And this is where Rockstar's strategy gets genuinely fascinating, because it is the exact opposite of how almost every other studio markets games. Most publishers flood the zone. 15 trailers, weekly developer diaries, social media campaigns, influencer partnerships, sponsored streams, non-stop content from announcement to launch. Rockstar does the opposite. Rockstar goes silent. Here's how it played out for Red Dead Redemption 2. The game was first teased October 16th, 2016, 2 full years before its initial release. Rockstar's official Twitter account changed its background image to red. That was it. No announcement, no title, no screenshots, just a color change. Within hours, gaming journalists and fans lost their minds. Articles appeared, YouTube videos appeared, Take-Two's stock climbed. The actual game announcement didn't come for another 2 days. By the time Rockstar officially confirmed Red Dead Redemption 2 existed, the entire game press had already covered it for free. Rockstar spent nothing on that initial wave of coverage. The audience did the marketing for them. Over the next 2 years, Rockstar released exactly 4 trailers. Each one was treated as a global event. YouTubers built entire channels on frame-by-frame breakdowns of single 90-second clips, hunting for hidden details, theorizing about the story, analyzing background characters. Rockstar didn't create that content. The fans did it for free, because Rockstar had made every scrap of information feel precious by releasing almost none of it. This is the core of their strategy. Scarcity creates obsession. When you give people almost nothing, everything you do give them becomes an event. Then there was the pre-order machine. Rockstar partnered with Sony for an exclusive promotional deal. PlayStation 4 owners would get early access to certain online content. That one deal turned PlayStation owners into a marketing army. Every PlayStation forum, every subreddit, every gaming YouTube channel started promoting Red Dead Redemption 2 because it was in their interest to do so. Rockstar got that promotion for free. By launch, Red Dead Redemption 2 had broken the PlayStation Network's record for the most pre-orders of any full-priced game in history. And then Rockstar did something that should have killed the hype. They delayed the game twice. The original release was supposed to be the second half of 2017. They missed it. They reset to early 2018. They missed that too. October 2018 was the final date. When most studios delay a game, pre-orders drop. People cancel, the conversation moves on. Rockstar's pre-orders kept climbing through both delays. Because over 20 years, Rockstar had built a reputation so strong that a delay wasn't seen as a failure, it was seen as a promise. We're not shipping until it's ready. And fans had enough history with Rockstar to believe that when they finally did ship, it would be worth it. That reputation is not accidental. It's the result of GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas, GTA 4, GTA 5, Red Dead Redemption. Every one of those games delivered on its promises. Every one of them was a landmark moment in gaming. By the time Red Dead Redemption 2 came around, Rockstar didn't have to prove anything. The audience already trusted them completely, and that trust is worth hundreds of millions of dollars in pre-orders from people who haven't seen the final product. Now here's something worth thinking about. GTA 5, Rockstar's other record holder, has now sold over 220 million copies as of late 2025. That's a number Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick confirmed publicly. Total revenue from GTA 5 alone is estimated at around $8.6 billion lifetime, mostly from initial sales combined with over a decade of GTA Online microtransactions. Red Dead Redemption 2, by comparison, has sold around 79 to 82 million copies. It's the fourth best-selling game of all time, but it doesn't have the same live service tail that GTA Online created, and that's actually one of the most interesting business questions in gaming right now. What happens when Red Dead Online gets the same long-term investment that GTA Online got? Because the audience is clearly there, the foundation is clearly there, the engine is clearly there. The $725 million opening weekend was the headline, but the lifetime story of Red Dead Redemption 2 is still being written. If you've made it this far, genuinely thank you. This is the kind of topic I could spend 3 more videos on, and honestly, probably will. If you want to see a breakdown of how GTA 5 became an $8.6 billion franchise, or how Rockstar's crunch culture actually compares to the rest of the industry, drop it in the comments. I read them. I build videos around what people actually want to know. And if this video gave you something, if you learned something you didn't know before you clicked, share it with one person. That's genuinely the best thing you can do for this channel. It's what lets me keep making these videos. Subscribe if you haven't, there's a lot more of this coming. So let's bring it back to where we started. $725 million in 3 days. A number so large it beat the entire global opening weekend of the biggest superhero movie in the world. A number backed by a federal filing, verified by auditors, and reported under oath to the US government. But now you know it wasn't just a number, it was the result of an 8-year development cycle. Roughly 2,000 people across 6 global studios, a budget somewhere between $370 million, $540 million. A proprietary engine 2 decades in the making that no competitor has replicated, a marketing strategy built entirely on silence and scarcity, and a reputation earned game by game over 20 years that made millions of people willing to hand over $60 before they'd even seen a single minute of gameplay. Red Dead Redemption 2 didn't make $725 million because it got lucky. It made $725 million because Rockstar built a machine over decades specifically designed to make that outcome possible. And the wildest part, they did it twice. GTA 5 still holds the 3-day launch record. Red Dead Redemption 2 holds the opening weekend record, both owned by the same studio. Nobody else has either. That's not luck. That's a system. And now you know exactly how it works.